To inform the appointing authorities that we have lost confidence in the leadership of the Director General, Professor Amin Al-Hassan, and can no longer work under his leadership. We are also calling for a forensic audit into the finances of the corporation from 1st October 2019, when he assumed office, till date. We are also calling on the Director of Human Resources, Mr. GHOne, to proceed on leave with immediate effect.
According to the unions, their concerns stem from alleged financial malfeasance and poor resource management, including questions surrounding land sales across the country and the controversial 13th African Games broadcast contract, where GBC reportedly earned a fraction of the contract's stated value.
How can you outsource a contract, a main contractor, taking $105,000 out of $3.6 million? What is the terms of contract that you, the main contractor, will outsource more than 90%?
Of some workers, enhancement of the provident fund, general staff welfare concerns, management fuel, and conditions of services of management.
This in the state broadcaster. Appealing to the presidency and the National Media Commission, the workers stressed that GBC belongs to the people of Ghana, vowing to remain united and resolute until decisive action.
Ajay. Now, the union had formally called for a forensic audit into the 13th African Games broadcast contract involving the state broadcaster. The letter conveys the president's expectation that the matter be duly reviewed and concluded, and assures the Auditor General of the highest consideration of John Dramani Mahama. Well, shifting focus a little bit from that issue, farmers within the Wager Irrigation Enclave are calling on the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority and government to urgently intervene over what they describe as increasing encroachment on irrigation lands critical to food production. The farmers say the activities of the encroachers threaten the livelihoods of more than 30,000 farm hands and head farmers, warning that continued inaction could leave them without land to cultivate and undermine efforts to feed the growing population,
who depend on the enclave for survival. According to them, if the situation is not addressed immediately, there will be little or no land left for food production. A development, they warn, could undermine efforts to ensure consistent bumper. GHOne Addison says the Ministries of Food and Agriculture, as well as Land and Natural Resources, National Security, and the Presidency must step in and protect the land from further encroachment, describing it as their lifeblood and a critical national asset for sustained food production.
Ghana Limited, and they have been on the forefront telling us that, well, there is so much that we can derive from the cultivation and the use of cannabis, especially the one with the THC level that you get some approval for. Nana has joined me. Nana, thank you so much. This should be real good news for you, looking at the work that you've been doing over the years to get attention to this matter.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to you and to your viewers. Yes, this is extremely good news. It's 6 years too late, but nevertheless, nothing happens before the time. As you said, and rightfully so, the Act was passed back in 2020, and the President at that time, Akufo-Addo, assented to it in May 2020. Unfortunately, it's taken 4 years or so for the legislative instrument to be produced, and now we're at a point where they're saying, yes, we're going to start this new industry. We still do not know what the fees and the charges will be, and you can also produce hempcrete, which will construct the building that you're currently in and all other buildings, and this hempcrete has the ability to absorb carbon dioxide. So when we talk about climate change and things like that, this is very good for years. We're taking in textile from Holland and China years. We're taking in textile from Holland and China and everywhere else. We can cultivate industrial hemp and produce bast fibers. And those bast fibers can be combined with cotton, nylon, silk, wool.
As much as $45,000 per hectare. Are these realistic charges and fees from your perspective and from what you have monitored from other countries that have actually also gone into this?
Well, it's outrageous. 6 years ago, the global market and the dynamics of the global market were completely different. The prices that one could receive for exporting industrial hemp at that time has declined from what it was then. So really and truly, I can't understand it. If this is what they are going to be putting through, then it's course 90. You'll defeat the object. And I was on a program with the PR of NARCOC, and he said that they are doing this for Ghanaians. Well, to be quite honest with you, if those fees that you have quoted are correct, then they're not doing this for Ghanaians at all. They're doing it for someone else. And I can only imagine that they're doing it for expatriates.
So what is realistic?
Have the money.
Now, you say this is outrageous. So what is realistic from best practices elsewhere?
Well, let me give you some examples. In Botswana, for example, in Botswana, where they've kicked off this cannabis industry, they are charging $250 per hectare. Now, that is like, $44,750 less than what we're charging.
Right.
And you look at South Africa, it's less than that too. You look at Malawi, it's less than that too. You look at Morocco, it's also less than that too. Lesotho, Zimbabwe. This is probably going to be the highest fees in the world. Because in the developed world, USA, Canada, Holland, Portugal, that the fees are nowhere near comparable, near comparable at all. These are probably the highest fees in the world.
Right.
And if we're going to establish a cannabis industry, then I'm sorry, I don't think we will be able to participate. And I don't think we'll get the knock-on effect of creating jobs and more jobs, and creating a new revenue income stream for the government as well. I don't think any of these things will take place because the ordinary Ghanaian will not be able to participate.
Right. So as it stands now, are we going to see Hempa basically take this matter on so that at least we can get some reduction, which is what you were telling me this morning would help. Else, the indigenous Ghanaians will be out of this industry.
Well, what we intend to do now that you have made this clear to us is we will wait until the Minister of Interior, Honorable Muntaka Mubarak, we'll wait for him to release what the fees are, and then we will certainly
began in 2022, but has been stalled. But has been stalled by repeated holds, pushing completion further out of reach. Residents in the La Enclave
to a well-standard modernized architectural health facility with over 150 bed capacity, OPD.